Is it madness or is it hatred in the heart? So, shalom and good evening. As we try to ponder on and contemplate the thoughts in our minds, let us allow the scriptures to guide us along in this uh, reflection. So, recently, I had a conversation with a fellow brother, and I guess he was ranting about something. But then I thought to myself, is this still hatred in the heart? Or is it still just madness? Now, what is madness? Well, to me, madness is um, you're mad or you're angry at something. For example, you are angry at a system, you are angry with something wrong. Now, is madness then hatred in the heart? No. Well, at least to me, so far in my reflection, I don't think unforgiveness in the heart or hatred in the heart is madness. Now, hatred in the heart is, I think, is unforgiveness, or hatred in the heart is punishments, um, um, slander. So far, that's what I think, right? Because you didn't release it, right? Now, as we allow the scriptures to guide us, right, to the best that we can, I think hatred in the heart will fall, or excuse me, it will, a situation will be hatred in the heart if you did not confront that person, right? You have disagreements, but you didn't confront it. So let let let's have the scriptures guide us, okay? I think that's in Matthew. This is just, I think, I'm trying to think of a system, a guide, when you're, whatever it is that you're building, a group, a company, right? It always have this rules, right? So I'm contemplating on that, right? Because I don't know what to say to my friend when we were talking. He was ranting about a friend that, um, I believe he was, or that person he is talking about is, making was throwing shade, or in other words, that person is making attacks direct um without directing it to someone. But my friend was affected. But so I told him, have you confronted him? So I guess right now, okay, based on scriptures, you must. This is Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Okay, we must rebuke them, right? Of course, there's the spirit of meekness, so we must speak to them. So I believe that if you haven't rebuked, or you haven't told him that you have a disagreement, I think that will fall in hatred in the heart, right? But walk with me and help me, right? If you confronted him, and you had your disagreements, for example, a doctrine, and at the end of that conversation you still had those disagreements, I think it's no longer a hatred in the heart, but madness, because you're mad with something wrong, right? as long as you are attacking the position rather than the person. So I think that's so far. Okay, so far. Um, let's go to Matthew 5, I think. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, and verse 15. So let's walk with this slowly, okay? So the first thing to do really is confrontation, so that you can resolve a certain conflict between you and your brother. So this is Matthew 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, right? In the mouth of two or three witnesses, every word may be built or established. So, our goal for handling disagreements is to gain them. That's it. I think that's it. And if you can add, please comment down. Because we have a disagreement to regain someone and not to bring them down. Let's go to Galatians 6 and 1, I think. Galatians chapter 6 and verse 1. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, you which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, right, lest thou also be tempted. So that's what we do. It's always about restoration, regain. I know it's difficult, but that's our culture should be. Hey, a brother has a doctrine. Let's talk about it. Okay. So once you dealt with this, right? I think so. Matthew 18:15 verse and then 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee two or three witnesses, and if he shall neglect to hear them, then tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear them, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. So I think this is where you are no longer a hatred in the heart kind of person, because you already confronted him. So any kind of, I guess, hatred is already just madness. You're mad at something wrong. Again, you are just mad at something wrong, right? Sarah. This is Proverbs 25 verse 9. Debate thy cause with thy neighbor himself, and discover not a secret to another. See, it's always, if you have an argument, tell it to your brother, right? It's most of the time it's doctrine, but in times of confrontation, right, you have to like really confront him, right? And afterwards, you regain that brother. Okay, so that's the difference between hatred in the heart and madness, because our oppression maketh a wise man mad. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Oppression is not, it can mean something is wrong, right? Like a system, right? You're mad at oppressed, cruel, and just burdensome exercise power, authority over others. You can get mad at something wrong because your brother is doing something wrong. You can get mad at that, right? That's not hatred in the heart. That's why it's always confrontation, right? And that is something we must build every day, right? I mean, let's be real. There's no like, when you are an NBA player, you have a basketball court to practice. Here in our life, we don't have I guess, someone to just practice that conflict resolution. And it only happens when it actually happens. And it happens very sometimes, but when that happens, we are not prepared. So I guess the best way to do it is to just really do this kind of things, is to have, to talk to yourself or talk to someone and practice it, so that when that time comes, right, you confront it. Okay. And so that so far is my contemplation and my meditation. Remember, I think there were prophets, right, who is mad at Israelites because they were disobeying God's laws. So is that then hatred in the heart? No. So you can get mad. You cannot hate someone in your heart. So if you have a problem, talk to them. If they don't hear it, that's just madness. Okay. So hopefully we are still guided by the Most High, and if I'm wrong, hopefully something gets right along the way. But at the end of the day, all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Amen.